Lessons in Forgetting, and Life of Pi proved his versatility as an actor. Mr. Adil Hussain also starred in an Indian crime web series, Delhi Crime, which was released on OTT platform Netflix in 2019. The list is never ending when we talk about Mr. Adil Hussain's achievements. We welcome you, sir. Thank you so much for taking out time from your very busy schedule and joining us. How
Thank
are
you
you,
so
sir?
much. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you, Rupal. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you.
Sir, we have seen your journey now only, and like it is like really impressive that the roles you play and whatever movies you are doing, the role is like just commendable and remarkable. So, what motivated you to choose this profession, and how you landed up here?
I always enjoyed acting since my childhood. Since I was 8 years old, I did my first play. I continued doing it. And then by the age, I guess, around 12 or 13, I I felt that this is what I love to do, and in spite of all the oppositions from family and parents, not especially my father and other people, those who were sort of worried about my financial security in future, which is normal to worry about that. I continued doing it, and one thing led to the other. Um, and I joined National School of Drama and then got a scholarship to study acting in England. Came back. Yeah, so, it's like one thing led to the other. And probably I was also probably very lucky and hardworking. And I believed, without knowing that I believed, I fell in love with this, what I do. And when you love something intensely, I don't think that success, in terms of, if I define success not with fame and name and all that, but if I define success from subjective point of view, like I always had been feeling very content with myself, because I love doing what I do in the act of doing it, and not what comes after I did it. That means what I mean by applause and name and fame, which is great. Those are probably natural consequences if you do something well. And at a certain point of time, people might recognize that and might not recognize that. But most importantly, it is important for me to feel content, to feel at peace of while you do what you love to do.
We can see that you love acting, and your role simply said. You don't need to say how much you love acting and how commendable you are. So it is like just remarkable, sir. And also, sir, we have seen you in Bollywood movies and international movies as well. So, I would like you to share your best moments with us. Like, where did you enjoy the most?
Everywhere. I don't think that one can sort of generalize that, I enjoy better in India because it's my home turf, or I enjoy better there because things are quite often pretty organized in Western movies. Uh, when I shot with people from, Western world, I had great moments while shooting in India with different actors, right from Vidya Balan to, Tabu and Sridevi, and male actors like Randeep Huda and Akshay Kumar and Kareena Kapoor and Saif Ali Khan. A great time I had. I never had a difficult time with actors or directors in India. There is a wonderful bond which gets created between the director and actor, me and my director and co-actor, probably because that they also love what they do, and when like-minded people, like-minded cast and crew, they come together, there is this bond. Sometimes, of course, human beings, they do not stay in that higher consciousness all the time in their hearts. They fall and they go into the lower movements, as I call it. And then there could be certain unpleasant things, but it has rarely happened with me. In the West, what I love the most is that they're so precise and particular, and um, they always drive for excellence. They try to make things happen in the perfect possible way. In India, we have a certain attitude of like, let it go, okay, you know, it's okay, we'll do it next time, which is great because it doesn't sort of make you feel that this is the end of the world. And so that way I enjoy in both the places. I get to see the world, I get to see the country, which I love. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. There are so many things.
So as you mentioned about like everyone faces like lows and ups and everything. So what was your point where you felt like very down or very low, and how did you overcome with that, and what all you did?
I rarely felt that because I had in my disposal certain instruments which I was introduced to during my theater days by my teachers, because it is important for an actor to be in their calmest self. And especially the teachers that I was taught by, they introduced me to exercises, practices, tools, if I may say, um, which possibly is the fundamental. It's almost like the cornerstone, or even the foundation, the main foundation of the craft. That one is to be calm, one is to be quiet, and one is to be relaxed, no matter what is the outside situation. So I think I was lucky to have that. And then understanding calmness and quietude, and understanding inner stability from a rudimentary way to a better and finer way, through by my teachers, through my teachers from 2000 onward. I practiced certain tools which had been sort of invented probably thousands of years ago. I don't know. Those tools had been extremely beneficial. Not only beneficial is the probably the least I can, I can say, extremely uplifting, eye-opening. Um, it helped me to enlarge my vision of who we are, what we are, what is purpose of my life, and what am I doing here, and all that. So these tools had been there, and so that is the reason probably that I felt sad sometimes, but that was very momentarily. But I never felt depressed, nor did I feel hopeless. Sometimes I feel helpless when I see a lot of people suffer around me, which happened, of course, which happens quite often in natural tragedies and calamities, like flood and earthquakes and riots, and of course recently COVID, a pandemic. And I had been sitting in Delhi in the middle of this almost catastrophe, that I saw people dying and I couldn't help. So one feels helpless, but then I definitely go back to my tools. I practice them and bring myself to a state of quietude and peace, not necessarily happy, but so that I can make myself active in order to find what can I do in this situation, in spite of being locked up in an apartment. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so sir, talking about pandemic only, as you mentioned. So pandemic has affected, everyone's life, like ours also, like everyone's. So how do you think like pandemic has affected you personally, and how you absorb the things going around you? As you mentioned, like you were feeling helpless and all, but how did it affected you personally?
It affected me, well, it affected me in a wonderful way. It gave me perspective. It made me realize how fragile human life is, and including the most powerful political leaders came to their knees. They were not shielded by any of their power or money or securities. They were affected, they were caught unaware. That tiny little virus, which cannot be even seen through naked eye, in fact, is very difficult to see through microscope, can invade their body and get into there. And people I've seen falling victims of this virus tragically, in spite of having loads of money. They could not save themselves, which is such a sad thing, which also made me realize that all our education, all kinds of pride that we have about our wealth and physical possession and material possession could not save us. It gave me, it made me understand that the most important education that we should have now, and the current education system radically has to change. It should be actually thrown, and I feel that it should be flushed down into the toilet, because it did not give us the courage to become, to practice our higher values as a human being, to be more empathetic. People have made money in this. Some business organizations have made crores of rupees per day, and hundreds and millions of people have suffered without any rudimentary health care. So if educated people have made money there on the miseries of other people, I don't know what kind of education that we have. If that education does not make us better human beings, then we should not even think of going back to the schools that to schools to study what we study. Because if the education that we have cannot make us practice the human values for which we are called human beings, if that cannot learn in our schools, then why should we go to school? And on the other side, I have also seen amazing human behavior from uneducated people. They came and helped, and they gave all that they had, even in spite of not having any kind of wealth or proper education, higher education or higher degrees. They showed their empathy and their utmost sincerity and honesty to help other people. So I somehow feel that it is important for all the education institutions to start teaching, or help, even not teaching is not the right word, to help the young ones learn, to facilitate them, to help them to learn the higher values of human beings, compassion and love and respect and empathy, and that we are codependent. Yesterday I read a news which sort of baffled me a lot and made me feel again little helpless for a certain time, that 1 billion, almost more than a billion shellfish, clams, mussels, and snails were cooked inside their shell because of the temperature in coastal Canada, and 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 world leaders are not even bothered about that the climate is changing, and because of that the weather pattern has changed. Canada is one of the coldest countries in the world, and if that happens, what happened a few days ago, what is going to happen to India? So I feel that what pandemic gave me a gift of awareness, if I may put it that way. It made me it made me become aware of how much resources I use in terms of every resource: water, electricity, fuel that I use, clothes, and all kinds of material thing which we generally take for granted because of certain amount of earning, uh, that we have, every human being, that how much we misuse and waste in everyday life. And those things that we waste and we don't actually enjoy it, but by we are victim of habits, and those habits make us waste, and we are not aware of it. Then those are actually of should go to the others. Those do not belong to us. It should be distributed. It should be given away, so that people, those who don't have anything, which is 60% of our population, is more than almost a billion people, that they don't have anything, like 2 square meals. And how is it possible for us even to sleep in peace and not do anything about it, when certain amount of people, when I see them underneath the flyover, I take a U-turn every time on the ring road in Delhi, that they are sleeping on the road, with the entire family. And I'm, sitting in this air conditioned place. So it sort of brought me so many, I had to reflect upon so many things, all aspects of my behavior. So it is important. And that's the reason probably people, those who are in very, very, luckily they are in well, in an economic system that which is helping them, probably unknowingly they feel sad. There are a lot of depression. There are a lot of uneasiness. So I think when we do not operate from our higher choices which come from the best of the human existence, human ideas, then unknowingly we fall from our own eyes. We fall from our self-esteem. We fall from our self-respect, and that brings a lot of misery to ourselves without knowing. I can keep going on, Rupal, so stop me.
Not at all. So we are just enjoying listening to you, and like the words you are saying that are inspiring very much. So before my next question, I would love to tell you that we are getting like overwhelming response from the audience over here, I can see, and we are getting multiple questions today. So I would just proceed with the questions from the audience.
Sure, sure.
So we have a question from Saroja Kumar. So Saroja, please unmute yourself and continue with the question, and do let us know from where you are speaking.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
And Adil sir, it's really nice to interact you, sir. And I'm watching your every serial and movies since my childhood. And my today's question is, sir, today we have a number of issues relating to our professional life. So what are the exactly impact or how to overcome the stress relating to our professional life post-COVID era? And sir, I'm presently from Chhattisgarh.
Hi, how are you doing? um I probably, those who have this degrees, professional scientific degrees, or scientifically studied psychology and psychiatry, you should ask the questions to them. I was supposed to have a conversation with a psychologist. So what I can say, what I practice. So I've never visited a psychologist or psychiatrist myself, because I didn't need to, thankfully, and I'm grateful for that. I always practice, which is very simple practice, and probably this is not the right forum to talk about those practices, because those practices are very personal practice, but yet I'm going to just give you some hints. It is important to be constantly aware of what you have, what you already have, and be in gratitude all the time. And also to take responsibility of the actions which you have already committed. Now, when I say action, doesn't mean physical actions. I mean by what you think. What are the thoughts which cross your mind? What are the words that you speak in your best, when you are in your best, when you are in your worst? I mean, when you're angry, when you're irritated, when you are jealous, when you are frustrated, when you are cornered, when you feel victimized, when you feel belittled or rejected, what you think about the other person. Be aware of that and allow forgiveness to happen, to actively forgive the people, those who have wronged you, but not necessarily you will accept the injustice. You have to definitely put a stop to it, probably by just simply not responding or by not reacting. So make sure that you have a lot of time for yourself during the day, and find a way to make a list of things which you are grateful about. Right from that, you can breathe, you can see, you can smell, you can talk, you can hear music, you can see nature, that you have brothers or sisters, or if you have relatives, friends, and that you're born on this planet to experience this dimension, that you probably can sing, whatever way, and you can walk. You are not, your legs are still working, your hands are still moving. For everything, whatever amount of wealth that you have, your house, your money, whatever, even if you have 100 rupees, you have something. So to be able to be grateful, and you find things to be grateful about, and at the same time, knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally, directly or indirectly, if you have, hurt someone, caused pain, or done injustice to, or disrespected somebody, ask for forgiveness, and also at the same time forgive them, those who have hurt, caused pain, disrespected you, or done injustice to you. This is a tool I probably practice, all the time. Whenever I have some time, I sit and I do it. It keeps me very, very stress-free. It also gives me a lot of joy that I had the courage to forgive those who have wronged me. It takes immense amount of courage to forgive. It takes very, very little amount of courage to confront and to take revenge. Not even, maybe just a bit of courage at all. If at all it is required, courage is required. I think it takes an immense amount of courage to be able to forgive somebody. So this is one of the things that I practice. And just being aware of whenever you are, wherever you sit, even if you are in your toilet, you sit and you drive a car, just being aware of your breath at all times, that you are breathing gently, deeply, and wholesomely. And to have a smile in your heart in this part. Keep it open, be
Very
vulnerable.
well said, sir. Very well said. So now again, we have a next question, and it is from Bhavna. Bhavna, please unmute yourself and tell us from where you are speaking.
Good afternoon, ma'am and sir.
Hi.
I'm speaking from New Delhi.
Hi.
Sir,
What
did
is
you
your question? What is your question, Bhavna?
Sir, did you want to become an actor since childhood?
Yeah, I wanted to become a. I wanted to act. I didn't. I don't know whether I can say I wanted to become an actor. I wanted to act from my childhood. I always wanted to act. I always felt happy when I was rehearsing. I always felt happy and excited and vibrant when I was rehearsing and I was performing in front of people. So yes, I always wanted to act, and people started calling me actor. So that's great.
In one of your interview also, sir, we just saw that you said your father wanted you to become a professor, but you ended up here in Bollywood or international movies. So is there something behind this you can add on?
Yeah, it's a very small town idea. When I say small town, I'm not saying little, like belittling the small town at all. I am from that small town. So, when I say small town means in those days, in early, 70s, we didn't have any informations. I didn't even know that there is something called National School of Drama in New Delhi. I had no idea. Had we known, had my father known about it, probably you'd say, oh, there is a school. That means it's a legitimate profession that the central government runs a school called National School of Drama. So, I cannot blame my dad for not knowing because we didn't have information as such. So he definitely wanted me to either want to become probably an advocate or a professor or a doctor, an engineer, which is still generally the case with millions of parents in this country, because very little information, which reach the semi-urban and villages in India. There are so many different kinds of professions, and one can, according to your knack and according to your choices, according to your tendencies, that one can really pursue. So yeah, my dad decided that I have to you know do master degree in English and teach English at the local college, which is great. I mean, which is a very noble profession because he himself was a teacher, and I love teaching as well. The entire family is blessed with this amazing tendency, and not tendency, I would say amazing drive to pass on, impart knowledge, whatever we know, and we have the skill to do it. It's a family tradition, and that's the reason probably my dad thought that yeah, he can do it. But I still teach. I had been teaching, as you have already mentioned, in while you introduced me. I taught in Amsterdam, in India, and in Holland, in so many countries at the university level, in spite of being a 10+2 myself, and so it is amazing. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. We have next question from Geeta. And Geeta, please unmute yourself and tell us from where you are speaking. Geeta, are you there?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, sir. Hi. I'm a big fan actually, and it's been so good so far listening to you. I'm from Mumbai, and I wanted to ask you this question: like, is there an advice that you have for young aspiring actors who are trying to do good work just like you, and especially when the pandemic has hit all of us so hard? It's really a thought-provoking moment when you sit and think that whether you have made the right decision or not. So that's what I want to ask you.
It's a very delicate question to respond to, because I, sitting here in Delhi in my house, I would not be able to probably gaze and guess your situation. But from the question, the words that you spoke, what I sense, what I feel is that you are asking me to whether you should rethink about the profession that you are in. Is that right?
Not really, sir, but just to make the best out of the situation. And how would you want, like, people like us to deal with this?
I don't know about people like you, but I know because I'm talking to you, so I'm just specifically talking to you. I somehow feel that it is important for any buddy who is in this, in who wants to act and who wants to dance or sing, that continue to act and dance and sing. And for that, there are hundreds of speeches, plays, and monologues. Probably you have a friend. I hope you have a friend. I'm sure, get together, read a play, prepare a two-actor play. If the other person is not there, prepare a one-person play. And since you have the time to go, to explore each and every word, what does that mean to you now? Don't assume that you know the meaning of the word, because we really don't know the meaning of the word. It's very limited amount of meaning that you are aware of about each word. Each word has a multi-layered meaning. So it would take probably 3 years even to prepare a 45 minutes performance, according to my experience. So if you focus on every word to explore the meaning rather than putting the meaning that you know, which is, or I know, anybody knows, which is very limited, because words are very magical. Words are mysterious. Nobody knows where it appeared from. So words are, in Indian tradition, we call them, there is a terminology called Shabd Brahma. The words are magical, words have power. And to be able to explore words, it takes a lot of courage, a lot of time, and probably some tools. So you can start working on a piece of text which is written by some great writers. Don't just take any text from films. Don't take it from any film. Go to the people, those who are great writers, like, for example, in India, Kalidasa, and modern writers like ancient writers like Babu Bhuti, and or ancient writers like Shudrak, or modern writers like Tendulkar or Premchand or Mahesh L. Kunchuar, Marathi writer. There are Tamil writers. I don't know which part of the country you are from in terms of linguistic background that you have. But if you want to explore in English, definitely take Shakespeare or Bernard Shaw or Ibsen, though Ibsen wrote in Norwegian. But there are fantastic English translations. So take something which is written by great writers. Don't, as I said, I would rather ask you not to take anything from film script writings in India, because those are meant for films and not necessarily helpful for this kind of work that I'm asking you to do. So keep yourself busy with the craft, keep yourself busy with the words and the meaning of the words, and probably find a way to say those words which make sense to the other. Invite people, one or two friends of yours, into your living room. Sit on a chair or stand up in your living room, and just do the performance of 45 minutes every day, and take their responses. And if they know anything about acting, ask them to help you out. That should help.
Yeah, it is very informative. I hope, Geeta, you got your answer.
Yes, thanks a lot. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Pleasure, Geeta.
Next question we have from Ajay. Ajay, please unmute yourself. Tell us from where you are speaking and continue with the question, please. Ajay, are you there? His question is, sir, who is your inspiration? We also want to know who is your inspiration.
Oh, there's so many people. Not one, because the most important probably aspect of a person who all have inspired me, their understanding of human life and human body, human instrument, from from its higher purposes, which is why are we here, and all those philosophical questions which had been bothering me since my childhood. Also, definitely, all these great scientists, say Stephen Hawking and Einstein, and read their life stories. Great mystics, right from Assam, Shankar Dev and Ramakrishna Paramahansa Vivekananda and Sri Aurobindo, Ramana Maharshi, and Sufis. My grandfather was a Sufi, Sayyid Nasruddin Shah Qadri Baghdadi. His life is a big inspiration. And then there are so many of them great writers, Tolstoy and Tagore, and great writings from different parts of the world, great shamans from different parts of the world. Yeah, there's so many of them, singers, their lyrics, yeah.
Okay, great, sir. We have another question from Sayantan. Sayantan, please.
I couldn't hear a thing. I couldn't understand a word.
Yeah, hold on, sir. We have another question from Sayantan. And Sayantan, I would just allow you, and please unmute yourself and ask your question. Sayantan, are you there? His question is, how are you so much versatile and able to play so much characters and roles so effortlessly? And you are from Assam and still speak so many languages so fluently, making difficult things seem so simple. It is such a treat to watch you. Your journey throughout your life has inspired him so much. From Golpara to now, you have always made everyone happy. It is always a relief listening to you. You are a person having so much values in you. This is his question.
It's not a
How
question.
are you so much versatile?
It's an appreciation letter. It's so sweet, but thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much that you feel that, it makes sense to you, whatever I have done, which is a great, great inspiration, because sometimes probably these things, when you are in a helpless situation, sometimes it helps a lot. How? I probably, because that when I fell in love with acting, I wanted to just know more and more and more and more about acting, more and more about how this body works, how my brain works, how my emotions work, how breath works, and all those things which this body has, including, I would say, the questions that we keep talking about in our daily life, about our soul, about our journeys after death and all that. It's a common conversation in every, probably most of Indian households, unless you are a very fanatic atheist, and which is great to be an atheist. It's absolutely, it is better to be an atheist and experience, and then ask these questions. And every part, like Ramakrishna says, that Joto Mot Toto Pot, as many ways, as many opinions, as many ways. So I think it's better to believe something blindly, not believe something blindly, but just question, and then you experiment on yourself and found it to be true. That is a scientific approach. So when you go deeper into any aspect of life, I think there are certain walls which rationality cannot define. Intellectual understanding cannot, wrap this reasoning around. And then you lean to these great masters who have spoken about it. and then you go into that. And versatility is something that another name for versatility would be flexible. That you can stretch yourselves, you can bend yourself the way that the director, the writer, the role want you to mold you in a particular way, so that you have submitted and your own ideas of right and wrong and correct and incorrect and good and bad. You are still not fixated on those ideas. You're open to re-evaluate them. You're open to throw them out and renew them. That it doesn't become stagnant. It's not fixated. It's not rigid. And once it becomes rigid, you become a fanatic. And I would be probably, if the divine helps me, I'll be the last person who would like to be a fanatic in any aspect. So I think it is important to keep yourself open, to listen to people, to understand what their points of views, and have complete empathy. Even the points of views which are coming from the opposite sides or other sides are absolutely radically different than what you believe in. And then you can become flexible, and flexibility brings probably flexibility within belief system, in emotional state of being, in your ideas, bring consequence of that. Those flexibilities are or is versatility in the craft that I practice, which is acting.
Very well said, sir. Very well said. We have another question from Mr. Baljeet. Baljeet, please unmute yourself and tell us from where you are speaking.
Hello, sir. Yes, this is Baljeet from Jammu and Kashmir.
Hi, Baljeet.
Hello, sir. Hi. So, sir, my question is, like, how can we differentiate between like performing in daily life? I have two questions. So, first one is, how can we differentiate between performing in daily life and performing on stage or screen? Like, I know this was your research, so this is my first question. And second one is, like, is it possible to enact trauma, torture, or madness, especially when we take into consideration the ethical question attached with it? That's it, sir. Thank you.
Repeat the last question. Trauma?
Yes, sir. Sir, the question is that is it possible to enact trauma, torture, or madness when we take into consideration the ethical question attached with it?
Can you explain what do you mean by ethical question attached to it?
In the sense, sir, whenever I watch those performances, when somebody is enacting or performing madness or torture or trauma, in that sense, they're acting in that sense, like there is something, like ethical question should be there. That's what I feel. Otherwise, you'll just, do it, because I mean, it's very difficult to enact trauma or torture unless you've experienced it. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
probably have understood your question. So the first part of the question is that the difference between acting in everyday life and being like right now I'm talking to you. It is not performance. It is, I'm just talking to you. Would it be different when the camera is not on? Would I sit differently? Probably yes, I would. Would I be, this is my presentable self to you. I'm not doing a lot of things, I'm not, like the things that generally people don't do in, in a social life. The only difference that I found between the two, that broadly divided into two, performing in front of, in a given space, that means created by the writer and director and other actors and the crew and cast member, if you are in a film situation, or on the stage by light man and all that, and the everyday life, is of intensity of awareness, intensity of alertness, intensity of focus. Concentration is way more in a given space when you are surrounded by created space by the writer director. and cast and crew. In everyday life, we have the luxury to constantly be unaware of what we are doing, how we are walking, how we talk, what we say, we may not mean, how we can mean. We are not aware of how we sound. So I somehow feel, and I believe that probably we live a much more truer life. When I say truer, I mean I find those things to be true when it comes from deeper space within. Truer. Other, like, when we are in everyday life, things are true, but it's from the very superficial aspect of your being. You are not concentrated, you are not focused, you are not aware, you are not reflecting when you say those words, you are not reflective enough, you are not introspective enough, you are not aware enough when you speak in everyday life. So from that perspective, I feel that we live better when we are performing. And though the performance could be written by you, it's not necessarily it has to be written by somebody else. So you're way more wholesome, if I put it that way, when you perform. And in everyday life, you are doing your actions, you're thinking, you're speaking words, you are moving, getting up or doing all kinds of actions, but with less intensity, with less awareness. So that is the only big division or divide that I find between answering your first question. Excuse me. The second question that you asked me, which is a very interesting question. I've never thought, I've thought about it, but not in this way. Is it ethical to perform someone who is mad, who is, not mentally stable? It depends upon with what intention you are performing that. Is your intention for the purpose of art or to ridicule them? If it is written with sarcasm, if it is written with the intention to make people laugh and to make money, and for a very, very, I would say lower purposes, if it has been made into only a business deal, and it's not like yours. If that is like selling toothpaste or soap, and I'm not saying selling toothpaste or soap is a lower thing to do, because people need soap and toothpaste every day, and it's a great thing that they make it and they sell it. But if it is only that, it has to be more than that. It has to be for a higher purpose. When I say higher purpose, means for creating awareness with the purpose of creating empathy, to sort of create a window, to build a window into their lives for the people, those who don't know about anything. When they watch it, they would know. They will be allowed to get into their lives through the window that the artist have created, the actor has created, to know their pain, their agony, their life, their beauty as well at the same time, that they're human beings. If with that purpose it is made, you act. And it is very difficult to act, because unless you have experience it, and so that is why it is important that when you meet anybody in life and observe yourself, there are so many things in lives that we do which doesn't make any sense. Imagine those are the things, if we keep doing it continuously without any break, then we will be also considered mentally not stable. So I'm not going to give you lessons how to get into that, but probably have answered both the questions the way at best, as best as I can. Thank you.
Definitely, sir. I hope, Arjit, you got your answer. Now we have next question from Piyush. Piyush, please unmute. Piyush Rana, please unmute yourself and tell us from where you are speaking. Piyush Rana, are you there? Okay, so his question is, sir, how did you overcome your failures in your acting profession?
First of all, by not looking at it as failure in the first place. I don't believe in that word failure at all, because it could be a mistake or you are not in the right direction. And someone else might look at it as failure. I do not give any importance to that. If I did something and didn't work, that means I have to do it again. If I love it, I'll do it again. And if I don't like it at all, or if I love, that's not love. That would be a business transaction. Like the way we generally define love these days amongst men, women, or if you're heterosexual, men, women, if you're homosexual, between two men or two women or transgender, I love you and you have to love me back. That is, I don't call that love at all. That is a deal. That's a business deal. If I love something, I love, whether I gain anything from it or not, because I love to love it. It gives me so much joy to love it. So probably human beings' only goal on this planet is to understand what it means to actually embody what selfless love means, and not selfish love. That is probably the only goal that we all have. Until we learn it, the virus, will not leave us alone. That's what I feel. So I never experienced failure in my life, because I don't look at it as a failure. I just look at it, oh, it didn't work. Okay, let me do it again. And as I said, if you really love it, and if you're not expecting back any result, of course you would expect back certain quality of work. That I put in this much hard work, there has to be quality in that work. It has to be of high quality. Not that after high quality work, you are supposed to be recognized, you're supposed to be paid, you're supposed to be, you have to have name and fame. If those things are important, then you will experience failure. And I probably wouldn't have any quick fixes from me. I don't have antibiotics for that. I don't have a painkiller for that. What I have is a long treatment, which is probably almost naturopathy and homeopathic long treatment. I don't have any quick fix or surgery for that.
Okay, sir. So we have next question, and this is the last question we are taking from the audience.
Yeah, okay.
So this is from Shilpi Malik. Shilpi, please unmute yourself. Tell us from where you are speaking and ask your question, please. Shilpi, are you there? Okay, so I'll ask the question on her behalf, sir. So she's saying, first of all, she's a big fan of your phenomenal acting skills, and she's an English teacher, English language teacher, sir. And she's saying her students would love to take some tips from you about how to practice soliloquy and dialogue delivery.
I don't know how to do that, Shilpi, because I have to be physically present. If at all I can give any tips. That's the thing. I don't know actually how to give these tips, because I didn't have a shortcut to what I do. The thing that people probably, even my friends or my well-wishers who I know personally, they probably see the tip of the iceberg, which is the known Adil, that people know. But there's more than 90% is buried, that's the foundation. That thousands and thousands of hours of work which has gone in. So there's no shortcut to it. And it should not frighten you, because if you learn some tips from somebody, there are a lot of teachers I see these days that they give you tips. Those are all quick fixes, that will take you to a certain distance, but it will not take you to where you really, really should be, you know. And the only, probably, you cannot call it a tip, but probably a suggestion or indication that I can give for elocution or dialogue delivery is just learn, fall in love with the sound of the words, fall in love with the sound of the vowels and consonants, how they make sounds, what it makes you feel. Each syllable of the word would make you feel in a certain way. So be reflective, be introspective while you say each word. You know, each language would, when you speak with awareness, it will make you feel in a certain way. Each word of each language or each syllable of each word of each language would make you feel here in this area in a certain way. If you are interested in exploring those, and if you're interested in the other, when I say other, the other people, or a gathering or to a tree, then you would speak from that heart, from that space within, which will make sense to the other. You will care to be clear. You will care to be not mumble your words. You will take care because you would like to be understood, because you would like other to understand you, because you love what you say. You care for what you say. The meanings are important for you. Why the meanings are important for you? Because that's what you love to do. If you want me to speak on acting, probably I would not stop for next 25 days. It probably would be, I don't know, 10 volumes. So there is no tip, but what I just said, this is how it probably could be. Shilpi?
Thank you, sir. Very well said. So, little small tip, sir. We are like the last question. A small tip which you can incorporate in your life and you can advise our participants or viewers today so that they can increase their mental health and emotional well-being.
I already said that find some time to spend with yourself. Find a place where your phone is switched off, you're not disturbed externally. If you prefer to close your eyes and just be with your breathing. Just be aware from the nostrils, from the tip of your nose through the nostril, follow the path of the breath. It will take a certain amount of practice before you become comfortable with yourself. There are a lot of thoughts which will come. Allow the thoughts to come. Don't block them. Don't judge them. Don't analyze them. Just let them come, let them go. If you go with some of them, you will. And then, but come back gently to your breathing and relax your muscular body, the body which you can catch hold of. Relax your forehead, relax your eyebrows, relax your jaw, relax your tongue, relax your shoulders and muscles at the back. You take good support to sit, comfortably sit. Relax your thigh muscles, calf muscles. These are very, very simple exercises. And just be with yourself. First day maybe for 5 minutes, then increase it to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20. Now when it can go to any amount of time. There's no limit. And if you fall in love with that quiet part of yourself, then probably all the stresses which come, probably I cannot guarantee anything. It depends upon how much stresses you have already taken and where you are as a person. So there is no shortcut to it, and there is no guarantee that it will reduce. This is no antibiotic. This is simply a tool that you can use, to try and see if it works for you. Why not? Why wouldn't you do it then? Find some time for yourself. It's so important.
An amazing tip, sir. We all will try and we'll see how it works. So thank you so much, sir, for inspiring us and our viewers also. Let me tell you, we have like a great audience. today. And everyone is so thankful to you. Everyone is inspired. Everyone is so much inspired by your words. Everything you said today was so insightful. And I don't have enough words to thank you
Please don't say.
for joining us today. It was really a great session with you, sir. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rupal.
Okay, so next we will have a mental health counseling session in which we have Dr. Priti with us, and my colleague Shivani will be continuing with counseling session with Dr. Priti Srivastava. So now here is a small video on sanitation and hygiene program by Sharp NGO. Please have a look.
Thank you so much, Rupal. That was indeed a wonderful session and so inspiring. And thank you so much, Adil sir. My name is Shivani Bhatia, and I will be moderating this segment with you all. And now for our next segment, where we are going to talk about mental health, and we can have a live mental health counseling. We are going to have a live mental health counseling with our esteemed panelist, Dr. Priti Srivastava. So, few instructions before we start this segment, as we are going to have live mental health counseling in this round. So we request the audience to come up with any situation you want to ask, you want to share, or any question you want answer to from our expert in this live segment. And to best live sharpest question of the day will get a gift voucher worth rupees 500 each. So without further ado, let me invite our next speaker, Dr. Priti Srivastava. Hi, ma'am. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there, but I don't know. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Let me just give a little brief about Dr. Priti. Dr. Priti is a clinical psychologist, senior psychologist at Genesis Neurogen, running a mid-size integrated special school and having an experience of 19 years dealing with all psychosomatic disorders, depression, anxiety, behavior modification, and IQ testing. We are so glad to have you, ma'am, on floor. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having me. Thanks for having me. I was going through the session. It was just very, it was an excellent session. And
Uh,
my Sir Adil Hussain,
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, before we start up with our live question, so, sorry, ma'am, like we had so many questions related to mental health in our previous segment. So, anything, ma'am, would you like to share? Like, anything would you like to say, or any tips would you like to give? Like, people are feeling demotivated, people are feeling low at this time, so being a professional, how you counsel people, how we can overcome such situations.
actually, the pandemic has affected, I think, more than physical, it has affected people's mental health a lot, a
Right.
lot. So, most of the time, there's a fear of getting infected, fear of getting sick. So what it affects the person's body also. आप डर से sometimes आप जो बात सोचते रहते हो, your body also respond to that. कि हमें ये हो जाएगा, and we'll get sick, हमें infection हो जाएगा. That particular kind of fear, sometimes your body also responds according to that. That fear is called psychosomatic disorder. I'm audible? Am I audible? Because your voice is
Ma'am,
not
a little
clear.
bit, if right, little bit, if you can come closer, or
No, I'm using the thing. Is it okay now?
little bit,
Am I
ma'am.
audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So it has affected people's mental health. Any age you can take, middle age, children, youngsters. Most of the time, what I have categorized, the youngsters are really badly affected with the pandemic and the lockdown between the age of 18 to 26. They are having lots and lots of problems with the anxiety. They lost hope because earlier they were going to the college, they were involved with so many things, going to the college, meeting with the friends, and all of a sudden everything has stopped. It was not a decided period of lockdown. Lately, it was increasing. Like it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So, धीरे what happened? They increased with anxiety. धीरे धीरे उनकी anxiety बढ़ती गई, anxiety से और physical problems बढ़ती गई. Then they come for counseling and all. So I'm same with the children. No set routine for them. Most of the time they are on in online classes. No physical activity. Lots and lots of problems. So it's like that. Hello.
Yes. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
So,
Hello.
ma'am, we have some questions from our audience. Just give me a second. Okay. So our next question. So our question is from Shruti Tiwari. Shruti, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Hello, Shruti, can you hear me? Okay. So, ma'am, her question is, what is the best way to improve our mental health?
To take everything positively. If you will
Ma'am,
take everything
if you
positive,
can be a little loud.
take everything positively. I know it's
Right.
very hard during the lockdown and the pandemic. During the pandemic, everybody was so, under the pressure. इतना fear था, इतना डर था that we'll get the infection. शुरू में तो everyone was excited. The whole family is there with us and ऐसा इतना ज्यादा problem नहीं था. But later on जैसे जैसे lockdown बढ़ता गया, तो इस तरह की problems आनी शुरू हो गई. And after that, during the second wave, they lost all the hopes कि चलो पहले के बाद तो ठीक होना था, second में तो वो भी नहीं है. So, but try to take everything positively. It's very easy to say, it's not very practical, but we have to. We don't have any other choice. We have to stay positive and please engage with some of your hobbies. जो काफी लोगों ने किया भी, जिन लोगों को पता नहीं था कि हमारे अंदर ये टैलेंट है, वो सारे टैलेंट्स लॉकडाउन में निकल के आए. People were involved with so many creativity, cooking. They learned a lot of skills online. So even a person, उसको अपनी स्किल्स को डेवलप करना चाहिए, जो भी क्रिएटिविटी है उसमें इन्वॉल्व रहना चाहिए एंड बी पॉजिटिव विद डीप ब्रीदिंग.
Right,
हेलो.
right, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
I
So,
think there was no
our
problem
next.
with the video. Yeah,
Sorry,
sorry.
ma'am.
Earlier, there was no problem with the video or audio, but right now, I think I'm facing the problem from your side.
Okay, but I think, ma'am, it's fine now. We can hear you.
Okay, okay, okay,
Right.
okay, okay, no problem.
Okay. So our next question is from Priyanshi. Priyanshi,
Yes, ma'am.
hi. Where are you from, Priyanshi? And then you can go ahead with your question.
I'm from UP.
Okay. Please
Uh,
ask your question.
Hello, Priti ma'am.
Hello, hello, Priyanshi.
Ma'am, ma'am, I have a question that many students or children are not able to tell something to one who they trust or even their parents. So,
Okay.
is it right for them that instead of talking to someone, they are writing that thing in a paper or in their diaries?
I think that is the best thing when you don't have anybody to share your personal, some of your feelings. Some of the feelings even you can't share with your mother or any other family member. Either you should have some trustworthy person as a friend whom you can talk on the phone. Otherwise, the best way to write a diary, or so that you can take out your feelings and expressions and write it in the diary. That is the best way.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Shivani, you're on mute.
Oh, thank you, Shahi. So next question is from Miss Bhavya Jha. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Good evening,
Please
ma'am.
tell us where are you from? Hi, good
I'm
evening.
from Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh.
Hello,
Okay,
hello,
hi.
Bhavya.
I have two queries. Firstly, that what is the greatest reason for depriving mental health? And secondly, that these days we hear a lot of cases that there are wild revelations about children that we are not able to communicate our thoughts properly. So how to improve over that?
The first question, answer for the first question is to improve your willpower. If you have a strong willpower, nothing is going to harm your mental health because mental health is very important. आई थिंक यहाँ पूरा हमारा जो बॉडी है हमारे फिजिकल फीचर्स है या फिजिकल जो भी प्रॉब्लम है फॉर दैट वी हैव मेडिसिन वी हैव ट्रीटमेंट वी हैव ऑपरेशंस वी हैव सर्जरीज फॉर दिस वी आर द ओनली वन हु कैन कीप इट हेल्दी सो यू शुड हैव अ स्ट्रॉन्ग विल पावर आपकी विल पावर स्ट्रॉन्ग है तो नथिंग इज गोइंग टू हार्म योर मेंटल हेल्थ राइट एंड व्हाट वाज द सेकंड क्वेश्चन
Ma'am, how does our basically mental health affect the perspective through which we see ourselves?
Sorry, it's not clear. I'm not able to hear it. I'm sorry. Please repeat it again.
I was asking that how our mental health affects our perspective through which we see ourselves and the world.
Yeah, it does help because the perspective you're having, how you see a person. अगर आप उसमें सिर्फ कमियां देखते हो तो it will give you the negative effect. अगर आप उसकी खूबी देखते हो कि what are the positive points, what are the negative points, so it depends upon your perspective only. And उसी तरह से फिर आप बन जाते हो जैसे बोलते हैं ना कि जितना अगर खुशियां बांटो लेकिन खुशी तभी आप बांटोगे जब आप खुश होगे तभी तो बांट पाओगे ना. The thing you have that then only you'll be able to spread it. Whatever you don't have, you won't be able to spread it. सो पर्सपेक्टिव मैटर्स अ लॉट कि आप कैसे देख रहे हो दूसरे को उसके प्लस पॉइंट्स देख रहे हो उसके माइनस पॉइंट्स देख रहे हो दैट यू हैव टू सी एंड अगेन यू हैव टू बी हैप्पी टू परसीव एवरीथिंग. अब अगर नेगेटिविटी में डिप्रेस हो तो आपको थोड़ा सा दूसरी सामने की चीज भी डिप्रेस और नेगेटिव दिखेगी बट इफ यू हैव अ पर्सनालिटी यू आर ऑलवेज पॉजिटिव एंड हैप्पी तो यू विल सी द थिंग्स अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट एंड ऑब्जर्व द थिंग्स अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think, ma'am, it's difficult, but when we adapt things like when we see the positive aspects we see in ourselves as well. Thank you so much for answering so gracefully that question. So next question is from Pragyanam Bhora. Please unmute yourself, sir. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Hello, Pragyanam Bhora. Okay. Next question is from Anant Kumar P. Please unmute yourself and ask your question, sir.
Hello.
Hello. Hi,
Hello.
sir. Where are you from?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to ask, I suffer from depression since 6 years, and even I have family history too. Like for me, amidst all well-meaning, ever-supportive family, it is to feel painfully alone. Like it is to worry about things that others shrug off so easily. Like it is to welcome each morning with lethargy and apathy. It is pain that seems so immune to the exercise, medication, and relaxation. It is to weep for nothing, yet for everything. It is to feel inadequate almost every walking minute. I could go upon like this regarding my struggle, but I want this to be about how to get out of this deep pit that serves so perversely uncomfortable. Every time I feel I have reached a level ground, I find myself back where I began. So I want a proper solution for my problem.
Are you on medication? Hello?
Hello? Hello, ma'am.
Are you on medication?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask the medicines? I mean, if you don't mind, what medicines are you taking?
I take acetalopram 10 mg, ma'am.
Okay, since when? Since last 6 years?
Yes, ma'am. 5 years I had taken. After that, I had left it, but again it became a relapse.
You left it. Did you after the consultation or on your own?
After consultation of my psychiatrist only, I had left, ma'am. But within 3 or 4 months, it got relapsed.
And how old are you?
I am 24, ma'am.
And what do you do?
I just completed my MBBS.
So you completed your MBBS. So that means mentally you must be quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, I fought from around 18 years to this. I just completed it with amidst this struggle, but I'm not getting a permanent solution for this. So I just wanted
But
to.
I think the depression is not affecting your studies. You have completed
Actually,
MBBS.
pretty well. Like I know to manage my depressive symptoms, ma'am. But
Okay.
I want to get rid of it like totally. I know it is. I have studied everything regarding this, but like as I'm attending this webinar, maybe I could get some points from you.
So are you getting some psychotherapy or counseling from somewhere?
No, ma'am.
You need to because sometimes talking to somebody, sharing to somebody is also therapy. It's a talk therapy. So you need to, I think what I feel, because I can see your prescription or I'm not, we are not having face-to-face conversation. So sometimes you need to share so many things which you are not able to share with anybody else. So I think you should go for the counseling or psychotherapy also. And that will help you a lot because most of the time I've seen कि 6-7 साल से depression के patients है, they come to me and after the therapies, not 1, 2 or 3 therapies, it takes time. It takes time. They get rid of. Even the medicines भी उनकी बंद हो जाती हैं.
Okay, ma'am.
So you are doing everything. You are into physical exercise. You are into yoga. You are
Yes,
into
ma'am.
deep breathing.
Daily
You are into
practice of
meditation.
yoga and
But the more
meditation.
thing important for you, you're not doing that. Go for a therapist. Talk to the therapist. You need a counseling session. Where do you stay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Uh, and also I want to say like it's need a lot of guts to come up and say something and accept what you are going through.
Yes, yes, it is. It is. But nowadays people are aware. I think I told you, youngsters are suffering a lot between 18 to 26, and you can see it.
And yes, ma'am, we have upcoming doctor as well.
I know, I know, I know.
Okay,
Some
so
of the time they're psychologists also. Psychology, young psychologists. Yeah.
so ma'am, next question is from Anupama Mishra. Miss Anupama Mishra, can you hear me?
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
You are audible. Please introduce yourself and then you can go ahead with your question.
I'm Anupama Mishra from Nagpur. Good evening, everyone. My question is that during this pandemic, something happened in my life. Like I was facing daily disputes with my family, with my brother, sister, mother, father, everyone. I was trying myself to escape from this, but I was not able to do that. And all these things, like from the day when lockdown has happened, from that day I'm facing a lot, and today also I'm facing a lot. So it has affected my life so badly that now I'm not able to forget it. And I try to keep myself busy continuously in household chores and school work every time, but still it is constantly in my mind. I'm not able to forget it. I have consulted doctor also, but still I'm not getting what to do.
Okay, Anupama, just tell me your age. What is your age?
I'm just 27 years old.
And you do something? Are you a professional or into some job?
Yeah.
Hello. Please repeat it. There was hello.
Yes, I'm a teacher. I teach in school.
Okay. So what problem you were facing? Domestic violence?
Actually, pardon, ma'am.
आपको क्या problem हो रही थी? What problem exactly you were facing?
Actually, ma'am, like whatever disputes we were having in my house, so I just tried to keep myself away from it. But still, I was not able to. Like, if someone means I was not short tempered also, but now I have become short tempered. If anyone says something and if I have not done it, so I used to just lose my temper, and what I will say, even I don't know. And then suddenly I start crying, and such thing happens to me. The day was not so far. I think 2-3 months before, I just tried to end myself also. But after that, I realized what I'm trying to do. So all these things are coming in my mind daily.
Oh, please don't do that. Are you getting some unwanted thoughts also sometimes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, see, what you need to do is start doing some deep breathing exercises, and meditation is going to help you a lot. Like we are having I mean, video session. So you can consult a psychotherapist or a counselor. I think you need a counselor. And other than that, if you cannot visit for the time being, start doing meditation. Meditation से आपका दिमाग बहुत जो mind है काम होगा, and
To do
deep breathing exercises.
yoga daily morning, I used to wake up early. I do everything, but still the thing is not going from my mind.
What thing? The thoughts?
Yeah, all those thoughts, whatever happened, so it is not going from my mind.
Actually, see, need to consult some psychotherapist because the person, we professionals, we have to go in deep. Case history क्या है, कहाँ से start हुआ, what is your family background, and sometimes you need the family counseling also. Family members be involved हो. So इतने छोटे time में it's very difficult to say, or you might need the medication also if the condition situation is worse than that. So and please try to be positive. आप अगर इतना ज्यादा आपको परेशान करे, ट्राई टू इग्नोर द थिंग्स, ट्राई टू इग्नोर द फाइट्स. आप उन चीजों में पढ़ो ही मत. इन्वॉल्व योरसेल्फ विद सम म्यूजिक, सम मूवीज. इतनी सारी चीजें हैं देखने के लिए. ओटीटी प्लेटफॉर्म इज वेरी गुड. लॉकडाउन में काफी कुछ इसीलिए ओटीटी ने बहुत हेल्प किया लोगों को, बिकॉज पीपल विल बी बिजी विद दैट. आपकी जो क्वालिटीज है उनको एनहेंस करो, आपकी जो स्किल्स है उनको एनहेंस करो, रादर देन गोइंग कि हम मैं खत्म कर लूं, मैं ये करूं. नहीं, जो आपकी क्वालिटीज है ट्राई टू इम्प्रूव दोस.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Anupama. So our next question is from Saroja Kumar. So are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. I'm there here.
Yes, please go ahead with your question.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Saroja. Ma'am, your voice is a little low.
Is it okay now?
Yes. Okay. Yes, you can continue with your question. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Ma'am, my simple question is, we have number of traditional values and things in our life, and values and practices. So my question is the traditional values and the facts which are there in our society or in our culture, in our country since thousands of years, is having any impact to overcome these stress and anxiety situations?
Definitely, it is. It is. It helps us a lot. ये सारी चीजें जो हमें लगता है from the time being, जो हमारे ancestors उन्होंने सोच समझ के ही बनाई. It helps us a lot. Like for rituals, for puja and all, we are so busy. It increases our family bonding. Family bonding होती है whenever there are some festivals, some family rituals. Increase the bonding. आप अकेले नहीं होते. When you are not alone, you feel happy. You are involved with the people all the time. You are busy. And there's some excitement कि हाँ ये होगा this festival, like you can see the marriage, all the relatives and people, there's so many people involved with the marriage rituals and functions and everything. So these things obviously help a lot to overcome with the stress. आप
And
उस टाइम
ma'am,
अपनी बाकी चीजें भूल जाते हो.
and ma'am, my another question is, am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Ma'am, the second question is कि whenever I personally face such situations, I used to go for higher studies, and the studies is continuously going on. So is that a way to overcome such situations?
Very good.
By
Very
studying
good.
more and more?
Somebody can do it, or they can never have stress or anxiety. If you have a reading habit, you can never develop any stress or anxiety. There are a lot of things to read, lot of things, whether it's in books or on Google. That's the best thing to do. That means you are having a healthy mind. कि आप पढ़ रहे हो, you have a reading habit. It shows that you are having a healthy mind.
It's my academic studies only, ma'am, because I have completed my third master degrees along with 2 professional degrees.
Oh, that's
So
good.
that's the thing exactly I'm asking.
Are you suffering from some stress or anxiety?
No, I'm earlier in my past I have suffered a lot, but these
Okay.
studies help me a lot to overcome these situations. So that's the reasons
Okay.
as you are expert in this field, so I'm just taking your opinion.
Yes.
Is the studies really helpful to me only, or it's a common phenomenon that it's the studies will definitely help all of us to overcome these type of problems?
All of us. If people or youngsters are suffering from anxiety or stress, I always recommend go for to read some good study. Even I sometimes recommend some books also. If you have a reading habit, that means you have a very good and stable mind. And reading is the best thing. Reading is, I think, still other than Google, reading books, reading newspaper, fiction, anything is the best thing because it always increases your queries, your knowledge. So it's the best thing. It's the best thing.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. So my next question is from Baljeet Singh.
Hello. Hi, ma'am. Hello.
Hello. Please
Yeah.
introduce yourself. Where
Yes,
are you from?
ma'am.
And then
Ma'am, I'm from Jammu and Kashmir, and I'm a trained actor from National School of Drama. So, ma'am, my question is, like, as an actor, I have to deal with several emotions at the same time, and some of the characters, they stay with me, or their thoughts, they stay with me for a long time, and they affect me both mentally and physically. So I was just curious to know, how can I deal with this kind of situation?
Actually, you are absolutely right. It happens. जो आप पूरा दिन उस character को play करके आ रहे हो, and it is always on the backside of your mind, right? It's always
Right,
there in
right.
your mind. So you should have an attitude कि जो वहाँ पे है उसको वहीं छोड़ा है. Professional life is professional, and my personal life is my personal life. So don't bring your professional life to your home. For that, you need to have a very strong willpower and strong mental health because it happens. I've read about this very senior actors also. कि sometimes they go into depression. इतना ज़्यादा अपने character में involve हो जाते हैं कि they start acting this thing screen role. So please try to understand and ये आप ये सोच के रहो कि जो स्क्रीन पे जो मेरा कैरेक्टर है दैट इज टोटली डिफरेंट एंड जो मेरा घर पे कैरेक्टर है दैट इज टोटली डिफरेंट. हम भी तो ऑफिस और घर अलग अलग लेके चलते हैं मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल. ऑफिस का काम है, प्रोफेशनल लाइफ इज प्रोफेशनल लाइफ, पर्सनल लाइफ इज पर्सनल लाइफ. सो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट एंड ट्राई टू मैनेज द डिफरेंस between both of them. क्योंकि अगर आप मान लोगे कि मेरी पर्सनल लाइफ ऐसी है, मेरी प्रोफेशनल लाइफ जो है पर्सनल लाइफ को इंटरफेयर नहीं करे, तो इट विल बी वेरी इजी फॉर यू.
Right, ma'am.
I hope you got your
Agree?
answer, Baljeet.
Agree?
Yes.
So always try to maintain a
Thank you so much. Okay, so ma'am, another question is from Pragyanam Bora. Due to network issue, he is not able to come live. So he's studying counseling psychology from Assam, and his question is role of mental health at present time and the importance of resilience. And his second question is how to deal with clients during this pandemic.
See, the pandemic has multifactorial elements. Multifactorial. एक नहीं है, बहुत सारे हैं. Pandemic has multifactorial effects. Agree? इतनी सारी चीजों पे इफेक्ट कर रहा है. Your body, your mental health, your business, your occupation. It's all multifactorial, and it affects your functional activity also. जो आपका जो functional activity है उस पर भी affect कर रहा है. All the time, most of the people they feel depressed. जिनकी jobs चली गई हैं, तो obviously it's affecting everyone and everybody's mental health as well as physical health as well as financial condition. There's boredom, there's stigma, there's stress, anxiety, anger, aggressiveness. Most of the people have become very aggressive also. क्योंकि वो घर में ही बंद हैं and 3-4 लोग हैं आपस में, तो लड़ाइयाँ भी होती हैं, एक दूसरे को ही देख रहे हैं. तो the thing is कि how to overcome. That's what he asked. How to overcome?
Ma'am, he is himself studying psychology, so he's asking how we can deal with this pandemic, like how you deal with clients.
How I deal with clients? I call them for one-to-one session and we do counseling. We do psychotherapy for them. Sometimes they just come to share their things. We have to guide them and we have to guide them to keep always a positive attitude.
And what is your, the role of mental health professionals at this present time?
I think this present time, mental health professionals are, they are helping people a lot because, as I told you, it has multifactorial effect on everybody's health. So इस time तो people are very depressed. They need guidance. What to do next? And most of the children, बच्चों के साथ बहुत problem हो रही है. They are becoming hyperactive, aggressive. So parents, they come to me for their behavior modification. They need lots and lots of behavior modification because their energy is not being channelized. All the time they're sitting at home doing their home. And best thing is to reduce the screen time. But that is also there are some limitations because they have to use phone or laptop for their online classes, their tuitions. But for parents, it is advised that they can at least set a routine. सबका routine इस time गड़बड़ है. देर से उठना, देर से काम करना, और classes most of the time they are in front of the laptop or the phone. So management between all these things. Housewives, hello, am I audible? Am I audible?
There's been some technical issue from Siddharth's side. He'll be joining in seconds.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. I'm so sorry. There was some network issue from my side.
Yeah, your video and your voice was not there.
I hope it's fine now. I'm so sorry for the.
Okay.
Okay. So next question is from Priyanshi.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Please ask your question.
Ma'am, I have one more question. Ma'am, I have a problem that I have stage fear. Ma'am, even after practicing so many times, when my final performance come, I just get scared on stage. So, is there any solution for that?
Stage for what? For a performance or for some debate or for some giving some lectures?
Performance.
Performance that you can perform in front of your family of 3 or 4 members. Do you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
And after that also you again you have a fear of stage all the time or sometimes?
No, ma'am, all the time, whenever I perform on stage, I got scared after seeing the audience.
Do you practice in front of the mirror?
Uh-huh.
Do you practice in front of the mirror?
Yes, ma'am.
So try to practice whatever performance, your speech or some debate. So try to practice in front of the mirror and have little strong willpower. कि हाँ मुझे करना है. I have to do. I can do. You talk to yourself that I can do and I will do this time. Be confident.
Okay.
So what kind of stage performance you do? Dance or singing or what is it?
Ma'am, I do the anchoring, speech, and singing.
Speech and singing. Speech you can practice in front of a mirror and ask your आपके जो घर के 3-4 लोग हैं उनके सामने आप करके practice कर सकते हो. Do you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But always going before to the stage, performing your performance, keep yourself saying that I am the best. I can do it. I can do it. And just perform it. एक बार आपका confidence बढ़ेगा. After that, you'll be able to do it every time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So next question is from Avi Rathi. Avi, please unmute yourself. Hello, Avi, can you hear me? Okay, so I'll take up your question. Ma'am, my query is that when I feel lonely, what is the best tips or suggestion, if you can suggest any tips and suggestions when people feel lonely?
Involve yourself with some other activities. If you feel lonely, talk to your best friend, talk to somebody who can understand you, and somebody who can give you the good advice. So there are so many ways you can involve yourself. Do gardening, talk to other people, improve your skills. या जो भी आपकी hobbies है उनमें involve हो. You will never feel lonely. There are lot of I think network issues.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I think we got his or her answer. So next, I would like to call Dr. Avlokita Sharma. Dr. Sharma, are you there?
Good evening.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Where are you from? Please introduce yourself.
Yes, this is Dr. Avlokita Sharma. I'm a practicing counselor. I deal with teenagers, and my question to ma'am is, ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah. Tell me.
Ma'am, how do I help students who resort to social media for self-validation?
You need to do the counseling for them. You need to give them some questionnaires and work, and they need some sessions for behavior modification because it's really a bad thing happening these days, especially the Instagram and the reels. They are so much involved with that. So, how do you deal? I mean, what do you do with them?
But basically, my modus operandi is to let them feel that they are good enough. They're good enough for their families. They're good enough for the society and the school. They, if at all, they can participate in the competitions if they still feel. But social media is not the right place to seek self-validation because it leads to so many other issues as we know of. But then still, especially a few girls, ma'am, then they, in spite of all the counseling efforts that I make, they again after 6 months or 7 months, they again go back to seek validation from strangers. So I wasn't very sure that how to go about and how should I help such students.
The best thing is to get themselves involved in the physical activity because
okay, ma'am.
They will not involve with the phone or these Instagram or social media things. What I advise my the students coming to me is to get involved with most of the time the physical activity, that too the cycling, because of the pandemic they're not going out of the house and not doing no sports, nothing is happening these days. They can do cycling, yoga, walk, jogging, so many things are there. So फोन से फिर इतना ज्यादा इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं होगा.
जी, I get your point, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So we're going to take up the last question. It's from Bhavya Jha. Please unmute yourself and
Yes,
introduce
good evening,
yourself.
ma'am. Ma'am, again, by listening the point of views of like by so many queries, I got another query in my mind that we have been knowing ourselves since the day we were born. Then why do we get drifted so easily on the traces of what others are doing rather than following our self-belief?
Actually, that depends upon your upbringing. आपने घर में क्या सीखा है, लोग क्या आपको बताते हैं, and what you have learned from the school. So most of the time it depends upon your upbringing and your thinking, your thought process, and whatever you have learned from your family. So all these factors matter a lot. So, what you have learned from your after the time of birth and the kind of society you are living, because society matters a lot, teaching so many things to you. So I think these are all multiple factors involved with that.
Ma'am, can these harm us also at times?
Yes, it can. Depends. Depends upon your thought process, depends upon your family background, depends upon your society. So, and your parents are there to teach you what is right for you, what is wrong for you, and how you take it positively, try to adopt the good things only, not the negative things. कोई अगर shout करके बोलता है तो don't try to learn that, कि आप भी उसी को copy करो. Try to see the person, how polite the person is, how positive the person is, body language, and other things. These things matters a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was such a wonderful session with you, and I think so many queries has been solved. So many, so people came up with so many situations. You answered them. Yes, ma'am. You were saying something.
Yeah, I was saying that this is a very short time. I mean, for counseling or to fulfill their queries, you need plenty of time. All these queries or these kind of things cannot be done in a half an hour, 1 hour session. Anyway, it was very good.
You still able to manage all the question, and you answered all the question queries and different situation our audience had, and I think we can see in the chat box people really loved the session. It was such a good session, such a wonderful session with you. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank you,
much, ma'am.
Shruti.
Thank you so much once again. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
And now it's time to announce two sharpest question of the day winner. And the winners are Baljit Singh and Anant Kumar P. Mishra. Congratulations to both of you. And somebody from the communication team will contact you shortly and give you your gift vouchers. And thank you so much. Thank you so much once again, everyone, for joining in. And I hope you all enjoyed this session. You learned something from it, and whatever you learned will go with you and will help you in some or the other way. Thank you so much. And now we have a small feedback on your screen. Please fill that feedback form. And if any of your question is unanswered, please post it using hashtag webinar by Sharp on our social media platform. And we will try to answer and get back to you as soon as possible. Also, your participation certificate will be mailed to you within 2 days. Kindly check your spam box as well. And if you find this webinar interesting, you can subscribe to www.schoolindia.org.in for our further work and webinars. Also, Sharp NGO conducts mental health awareness session. And if you want to get your school registered, please visit www.schoolindia.org. Also, you are going to find the link in the chat box as well. And thank you so much, everyone. Stay safe and enjoy your weekend. Thank you.